Great phone conversation where you talked about what you remembered about Ben from so many years back, and I think what I was left with was how great he really was before the accident, and how underestimated and how underappreciated that is. Can you talk about, your earliest memories of Hogan and that period of his career?
Well, he always told me he was a better golfer before the accident.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the record proves it when he won 13 in 1946 and he won 10 or 11 in 1948. He was great to me. I was one of the two golf writers in town, but I was the only one of the two that could play golf.
Yeah.
So he sort of was partial to me. He was a very shy man. He had a closet sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
He was wonderful to me. I can't say anything bad about him. He was my idol, became my friend, and he gave me the best golf tip I ever had. We were playing golf one day, and actually he asked me to play in an exhibition match for the benefit of the U.S. Olympic Fund. And there were 4 of us, and we were out at Colonial, and there were about 5,000 people out there, and I was scared to death. I got off the tee okay, topped the next shot, topped the next shot, topped the third shot. All I want to do is dig a hole and disappear. Ben walks over next to me as we're walking toward the green, and he said, "You can probably swing faster if you try harder." The best golf tip I ever had.
Well, I think it's amazing. You've probably been the golf writer under the most pressure as far as your golf game ever, by having to practice and perform with Ben Hogan watching you. And yet, it seems like you handled it fine, and it was a fun experience.
Well, I was young enough to not be that terrified, and I was playing on the college golf team at TCU, and we played all of our matches at Colonial, and Ben would come out and watch us for a few holes.
Right.
And the guys I was playing against would say, "Is that who I think it is over there?" But it didn't seem to bother them as much as it did me, because I never beat anybody.
What did you guys have in common? You both finished second in the Fort Worth City Championship?
And Byron.
And Byron, too, huh?
Yeah, me, Ben, and Byron all finished second in the Fort Worth City. Right.
That's great.
Badge of honor.
Well, let's talk about the place where Hogan really excelled the most, which was the U.S. Open. Why was he the ultimate U.S. Open
player? It was
player?
the only golf tournament you could make any money by winning.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bonus tournament for the apparel and ball and equipment company. PGA was a bonus tournament too, and the Masters became one. The Western Open was a bonus tournament in the old days because it was a major in the old days. But Ben geared his game for the U.S. Open because it was fairways and greens.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to live in the fairway and par the golf course, and par was usually good enough to win an Open in those days because it was tougher. The one thing that young people don't realize about Ben and all the majors he won, the Opens, the 4 or 5 Opens, depending on your arithmetic, the Masters, PGA, he won all of his majors without being able to clean his golf ball on the green because those are the rules.
Yeah.
Big difference, huge difference.
Especially on that first putt. Yeah, the first putt's probably not going in with mud on it.
No.
Yeah.
And, the courses were set up tougher in those days, the open courses. The fairways were narrower, the rough was deeper, the greens were uneven. There was no double cut around the greens. There was just the frog hair and then garbage. So accuracy was everything.
Yeah.
And that's what he was good at.
Do you think that the Open is the ultimate examination, that it is the greatest championship?
Well, I still respect that title more than any other.
Yeah.
My favorite majors are the Open, the British, and the Masters because they all have their own charm and their own atmosphere, and they're all important.
Yeah.
But if I had to put my name on a trophy, it'd be the U.S. Open. You want your name on a trophy that has Jones, Nicklaus, Hogan.
What have been your favorite Opens over the years?
Well, 1951 is still there.
Yeah.
When Ben shot that 67 at Oakland Hills, the toughest golf course in the history of mankind. And then in 53, when he came down the stretch with Snead, you look at the record book and it says Ben won by 6, but with about 6 holes to go, there was only 1 shot different, and Sam's an hour behind him. And Ben didn't even know what people were doing because there weren't that many scoreboards.
Wow.
And he would ask somebody standing around the tee, "What's Sam doing?" They'd say, "Well, he's even or something."
Yeah.
And Ben would say to himself, "I need a strong finish." And that's when he finished 3-3-3 at Oakmont.
I think for me,
that's what Ben was good at. And speaking of Olympic, that place broke my heart 4 times. And I was there for all of them.
All of them.
I got Fleck instead of Hogan. I got Casper instead of Palmer. I got Simpson instead of Watson, and I got Jansen instead of Payne Stewart. I mean, come on.
It's the heartbreaker.
It's tough on the deadline guy.
You always rooted for the best story, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah. At the same time, you had your favorites. You wanted to win. Do you feel like over the years that we've been a little unfair to the names who didn't win? because we wanted we wanted the bigger names for history, and yet those guys did play great golf to win. I mean, there's no fluking in the U.S. Open, is there?
Well, it's part of the charm when a guy sneaks in every now and then you don't expect. But obviously, when you root for journalism, if Jack Nicklaus or Tiger Woods or Ben Hogan or Bobby Jones wins, you get a bigger bell line.
Right. Where does Torrey rank in your all-time last year's?
I was stunned that course played as hard as it did. I thought they were going to kill it.
Really?
Yeah, I did, because of what the tour had done to it. But I was flabbergasted when they held them at 1 over or whatever it was for the total. As an event, as a Tiger coming back, winning with the bad knee and all that, it was okay, but it wasn't exactly like Ben Hogan coming back from a car wreck. I mean, Tiger didn't have a head-on with a Greyhound bus. Come on.
Yeah. And Jack always said winning the Open was the hardest one for him to win, because he really had to be at least on his B or A- game. He couldn't do it with a C game, as he did in a few majors, even though he wouldn't use that phrase. But the Open made you, you either played well, or if you didn't play well, you had no chance.
Not to diminish the fact that guys win major championships, but in a certain way, majors are a little bit easier to win because there aren't that many guys who think they can win.
Yes.
There aren't that many guys who think they deserve to win. And so when they do, it's because they catch a hot putter.
Right.
And that can happen to anybody. You can fall into an open coma, as they used to call it.
Yes, the coma.
And you can catch a hot punter, and that's why you get unexpected people.
Now this week, we have a golf course that's by all accounts, one of the hardest ever, and yet it just shows how water is the great neutralizer. I mean, they could actually shoot record scores here.
They're on the way to trying to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I looked at the leaderboard, there were only 3 guys up there among the top 10 who'd won a major, and you have to kind of slap yourself in the face. You remember who they were: David Duval, Todd Hamilton, and Mike Weir. I mean, come on, where are the stars?
Well, they haven't got to play yet.
That's right.
In many cases, they've only finished one round.
This Open can last longer than an NBA season.